episode 41, part 2 of Kenya's premier sports video podcast, the 3 Quarters podcast. Jump onto the hashtag Road to Japan to show some love to the Kenya Singers. As you know, they are still hoping to qualify for the Rugby World Cup in 2019. And as we are all about promoting sports and sports travel, we've partnered with Moran Sports Travel to give you this brilliant offer for the Dubai Sevens, which is on the 1st and 2nd of December. So for only $999 US, you get to enjoy the full Dubai experience. That means your desert safaris, your nighttime barbecues, and your Dhow cruise. That and much more coming up on your screen.
This is Ngaji, official noisemaker. I'm Jerry Goose, Kenyana.
So, Bad Man of the Week comes from the Prinsloo Sevens tournament. Before you give us your Bad Man, I'll go ahead and give mine. Samuel Motari from Impala Saracens. Mostly because of his defense. It was so hard to get around Sam on the outside. Likes of Nelson Oyo could not outrun him, and that is, I think, more to do with his experience in the game. If you know someone might be quicker than you, step up, get them before they press the gas and run around you. So yeah, my Bad Man is Samuel Motari.
Mine is a bit different. I'll first give a shout to Alex Olaba, Strathmore, really carried the team. Same as Martin Owila, I think Martin Owila had a very fantastic tournament. However, my bad man is Oscar Ouma.
How did I not see this coming?
Yeah. I'm with you on that one, though. Yeah. I'm with you. I didn't see it coming.
This guy really carried Nakuru, considering this was his first tournament of the series. The breakdowns, especially, and his ball carrying, powerful runs, and I'll remember the game against Homeboys. The same is wow. Chisanga did not see that coming. Chisanga did not see that coming. Oscar really had a very good game. Sad that they couldn't end up winning it. Oscar is my bad.
Now onto Rugby 101, where you get to know all terms that are synonymous with rugby. Take us through that now.
So we get back from. We are still on the terms that go with rugby. And I'm not going to use any term that's synonymous, to the Kenyan rugby scene, but it's general. I will be talking about mauling today. So mauling is when the ball carrier is held up with key without being tackled, so by a player from his side and from the opposing side. When you have those 3 people, then a maul is considered to be formed. The offside line is at the foot of the last person in the maul. And some of the things that you normally see is that some people, you'll have to, the maul situation is basically like the breakdown situation. You have to come in through the gate, and the gate is from behind. You cannot come in from the sides. If you come in from the sides, of course, it results in a full penalty. You'll normally see teams using the maul situation primarily during the line-out, and if you know you have a stronger forward pack than the opposing team. So that's our Rugby 101 lesson for today.
All right, now moving on to the Kenya Rugby Union. In terms of elections, there is a memo that has been circulating about the possibility of a special AGM for the union. Yes, for the union elections because of non-compliance with the Sports Act. What do you think about this?
Not so surprising though. With the politics and the ups and downs that this union takes us through, it's a bit disappointing though. It's very disappointing that we can be this incompetent not to have registered the officials, elected officials, elections that happened back in March, right? This is what?
Yes, March 22nd.
This is what? About 5 months ago, we still don't have a registered union. Okay, the union is registered, but the members now not registered. So I'm trying to understand: was the election a shamble? Was it conducted in a very shoddy manner? Were guys being bribed, or were there offences being committed, or anything? I'd like guys to actually get to the bottom of it. And if not, let's have the re-election. Let's go back to the ballot and maybe elect some change.
That seems to be the norm in the country, re-elections. But anyway, the issue, just to explain to the viewers what was happening, is that with the advent of the Sports Act in 2013, it required the Registrar of Sports to register all elected officials of the union, of unions and federations, number one. Number two, all constitutions of the federations and unions needed to be in line with the Sports Act. Now, we held the elections for the Kenya Rugby Union on March 22nd, 2017. And to date, 6 of the 10 officials have not been registered. Or rather, the registrar of sports has declined to register these people, including the chairman of the union. The reason they're saying is that they feel, of course, in open court and during the sports dispute tribunal, they feel that the election was not really conducted in accordance with the Sports Act, and for that reason, they will not be going ahead and registering these people. If that is the case, of course, these are all allegations. We don't know how true. If that is the case, then of course, the secretary of the union will need to call for a special general meeting, which will then mean that all the clubs will be required to vote for the chairman plus the other 3 officials who are up for election. But anyway, this is just news coming to us. We don't really know how it's going to go forward, so we just wait and see what's going to be happening at the Kenya Rugby Union.
Okay, on to something a little better, better news. KRU extend their contract with Samurai for another 3 years.
This is much welcomed, because these guys, once they came into the Kenyan market back in 2012, 2013 with the Sevens, the Kenya Sevens, the Shujaa. I was about to call them Simbas. Yeah, they had a very good design, actually. Remember, it had the coat of arms, not coat of arms, the Kenyan shield on the shoulder. It's quite good that they have extended this, and I've been seeing even the clubs, the Kenya Cup clubs, have also have their own deals with Samurai, the likes of Menengai Oilers, Kenya Harlequins, I think, even Impala. Since have a contract with these guys, and they provide some quality kits for us. I was reading about them. They have some material called Performance that apparently enhances your muscle recovery. And I didn't know this could happen with fabric. But it's good, and it's good for merchandise as well. Once you get that type of quality, it gets revenue to the union and the clubs at large.
First, I'd like to know if the union, number one, is getting paid, because this is primarily advertisement. And if they're getting paid, we'd like to see how this money is being used with the union. That's number one. Number two, it's my hunch. I'm not saying it's confirmed anywhere. It's just my hunch that it's not really KRU seeking to extend the deal with Samurai. It's more of sporting apparel companies not wanting to deal with the union because of the politics that's involved in the running of the Kenya Rugby Union. All in all, as you're saying, I hope there's money coming in, number one. And number two, if the money is coming in, we would like to see where it's being used, because again, we hear that there's some people involved in rugby who are behind Samurai. So I do not know if the money is coming, and if the money is coming, we would like to see how it's going to be used.
All right, now on to International Rugby. The Super Rugby draw has been released for 2018.
Basically, the change that has been happening between 2017 and 2018 is, of course, 2 teams in South Africa have moved to the Northern Hemisphere Rugby. That's the Lions. Sorry, I beg your pardon. That's the Cheetahs and the Kings have moved to the Northern Hemisphere. What it essentially does is that it brings down the teams now to 15, and then it brings it to 3 conferences. I'd be honest, when Super Rugby expanded to 4 conferences, Africa having 2, Australia 1, and New Zealand 1, it became too saturated that it was not interesting to follow Super Rugby, because saturation, number one, and the quality of rugby went down. I feel so. For what you compare from when it was to Super 12 to Super 14 to Super Rugby with 15 teams, I think the quality went down. So I think it's a good move. I think every team will be playing 16 games a season, but it should be. I think the quality of rugby is going to improve with the move that has been put forward by Sansa.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, the Cheetahs actually they're doing quite well up north.
Yeah,
it goes to say that the Southern Hemisphere is better.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's much welcomed, and I'll agree with you that when it was 4 conferences, especially in South Africa especially, the rugby quality really went down. Probably it translates to what we've been seeing even in the rugby championship. Yeah, it's great that there was a South African team in the finals last year, Super Rugby, but the quality really went down. And it goes to show that no team from New Zealand was even taken off the log. It's only South Africa. Yeah.
South Africa and Australia.
Yes. South Africa and Australia. So it's a good move. Let's see how it pans out come next season.
All right, and then a quick one just before we finish. With the recent thumping of the Springboks, yes, thumping, yes. Does this dwindle the greatest rugby rivalry status?
I think it was already dwindled. It was already dwindled down. The last 3 games, most recent 57-0, there was a 57-15, a 41-13. Does that even sound like a proper rivalry? No, it doesn't. Reminds me when New Zealand first won in South Africa back in 1996 when Sean Fitzpatrick was still captain. You could tell even the celebration how much it meant for them. And moving on, it was always a proper rivalry. Until recent times, the last time New Zealand lost to South Africa at home was 2009. This is 8 years ago. They've never won. 14 of the last 16 matches have been won by New Zealand. 4 of the 5 being played in SA, won again by New Zealand. That doesn't sound like a rivalry to me anymore. It's non-existent.
I think first, as I mentioned it during last week's episode 40, I said I don't believe that any of the players in South Africa and the current Springbok team do believe that they can beat the All Blacks. As I said, I don't think the All Blacks are very good. I just think South Africa right now are very bad. I take it into two. I break it down into two things. Number one, the likes of Victor Matfield, Fourie Dupré, Skolkberger should not have played in the 2015 World Cup.
Yes.
This is bulk of the team that won the 2007 World Cup. Their last World Cup should have been 2011. What they were doing there, still in 2015, I do not know, because with their names, there were automatic selections, therefore hindering a lot of people who are coming up through the system. The likes of Francois Hogard, I think he was a very excellent scrum half and would have been a very good deputy to Fourie Dupré and a takeover from Fourie Dupré. So I think that was the biggest issue with the South African Rugby Union, maintaining these guys for long, number one. Number two, in recent past, we've been having a large contingent of South African players leaving South Africa and going to play in the north for money. What does that do is that it dilutes your talent locally. And because these guys are playing abroad, when you're just being called up for the Springboks, there's no even that cohesiveness, because you guys are not playing together really in the league. It doesn't happen in New Zealand. It happens small time in Australia. The bulk of the New Zealand people are chosen from the New Zealand league. Actually, there's a clause that blocks people from going. If you go abroad, you cannot be selected for the All Blacks. They changed with cut and McCall, so you can be allowed to go for 1 year. This is what they call the sabbatical. So I think that has been the biggest issue in South Africa, because they've lost a lot of talent. Pat Lambie, Francois Steyn, these guys went to the north and it just collapsed. So I think that has been South Africa's biggest undoing in the last few years, and it's a shame. These guys pushed the All Blacks to the last minute during the World Cup in England in 2015 semi-finals. It's a shame what's happening in South Africa, but they need to fix their house. We need to fix our house here. So we wait and see how it's gonna happen.
All right, so those are opinions from Ngara and Gusale. Remember to give us more feedback and also get more content from us. Follow us on Instagram, like our page on Facebook, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Janine Duffield.
This is Gash, your official newsmaker.
I'm Jaren Goose, Kenyana.
See you in part 3.